And welcome to the Wealth Guardians radio show. Good morning to you, one and all. My name's Doug Ray. I'm the host of the show today. And of course, Brice Payne is with me, working the board ops. I think we've got a good show lined up for you today. We're going to talk about several things, actually. I'll start the show out as we always normally do, and that's to salute all of our service members, our veterans, our first responders. We thank you so much for everything that you do out there. We had a very interesting question. You know, typically once a month we do questions and answers from you folks, and but this one in particular kind of stood out. It wasn't really a question per se. It was more of something happened to this person. It was a personal situation, and he wanted us to basically alert everybody and tell them how to avoid a survivorship situation with regards to Social Security. So we'll get into that. And then in the second half of the show, I want to give a market update. I've not been very optimistic on the market. Started out this spring telling you that long-term charts had set up for a downturn, and long-term could be long-term. It could be months into the future. They still don't look good. We had a little bit of a hiccup in September, although October turned out to be a nice little up month. But we'll get into that in the second half, so stay with us. Mr. Brice.
Good morning, Doug.
You had a birthday.
I did. Every year at this time, I tend to have one, and had a great birthday. So I want to give a shout out to my brother, Sean, who we share very similar music tastes. We're both audiophiles, and he has been following this a bluegrass virtuoso musician, Billy Strings, for a while, and was getting me into him. And Billy Strings, of course, was going to do a Halloween run up in Asheville, so he grabbed us some tickets and bought himself a plane ticket out here, and we went up there to enjoy the shows. Got to see some friends up there, and my goodness, what a musician. This kid is only 27 years old. He has got the attention of the entire bluegrass community and even the jam band part of the music world out there, and just 3 fun nights of everyone wearing costumes and listening to some brilliant fiddling and pick-in and acoustic guitar music up there. So, Sean, thank you very much for a great birthday. That was outstanding of you. And, Doug, thank you for letting me skip Monday here as I was making my way back down from the hills up there.
Well, you had a really good weekend. I mean, your Broncos won. You got to see a great concert, some brother time.
Broncos barely won against a team that they should have absolutely clobbered. But yes, at least we got to see that, and I love going to the shops up in Asheville everywhere as well. Of course, there's a lot of dregs of humanity up there as well. But it's a beautiful area. You've got a cabin or a condo up there, not too kind of in the same hilly area as that, so you know what the mountains are all about.
Yeah, it's a little bit far from Asheville. Banner Elk to Asheville is probably distance-wise, it's not that bad, but it's mountain roads, so it's a couple
mountain
hours.
Roads, but the same kind of element up there to some degree.
Sure.
Yeah.
But
so I had a great weekend, and what about you?
Same thing, man. My Pirates won, my Packers won, and my Panthers won. So
the 3 Ps.
You got it. 3P weekend.
Very good. Yeah. Aaron Rodgers was looking good last week.
Yeah, he
was. Good game too. I did catch some of that from the beer hall.
Hey, let me remind everybody, this is your last chance.
Last one.
Tuesday.
TikTok.
It's coming up.
TikTok.
We'll do our last Social Security workshop of the year. Mr. Hamilton Morales is going to put on a great show for you. Bring your questions. Try to stump him. I bet you can't do it. Bet you can't. So it's this Tuesday, 6:30 in the Broyhill in Clemens. All you have to do is to give us a call at 336-391-3409 to register for the event, or you can go to thewealthguardians.com, hit the event tab, and register right there.
And this is if you are getting close to retirement and you maybe have an investment advisor, but you've never had a real financial plan put together for what retirement is going to look like for you. Social Security is one of the main considerations on how to file for that, and you don't want to do it the wrong way because after a year you cannot undo it. So I would highly recommend to anybody who has not had a full Social Security or financial planning conversation with their financial planner to come to this and make sure that you are not doing something incorrectly, because you can't undo that mistake. And again, like Doug says, 336-391-3409, or visit us at thewealthguardians.com to register for one of our 2 upcoming final Social Security seminars of the year.
Well, Brice, we had an interesting email.
Speaking of Social Security.
Yeah, from Mike, who's obviously a Navy guy because he's got a little ship down here under his email. Mm-hmm. And, you know, we typically once a month do answer Q&A over the radio. People write into us all the time with some questions, and generally those are just, everyday kind of questions that, things they just don't know about. But this one struck me. It was very, obviously it resonated with him. Here's what he says. He says, first, I'm not one of your clients, although I did attend one of your seminars a few years ago. Second, I'm in my 70s, so not much can be done on my end for Social Security anyway. Third, and the real reason for this suggestion is that a relative and a friend have recently passed away, and both of them left their wives a mess. Both husbands apparently had claimed Social Security at the standard time. One fellow was 79, the other was 69 when they passed. And then he says, with no spouse survivor considerations. Well, we'll dig into that in just a second. And he says, I think you should have a show, a podcast, or a newsletter about this topic of survivorship. He goes on, he says, both of the departed husbands left surviving wives in a financial mess with only their wives' minimal Social Security. Both of them had limited work history. Both husbands chose to max out their pension payout while they were living. Oh, this is a big mistake. So there was no survivorship from their pension.
Yeah, so separate from the Social Security is going into a different topic.
Right. There. Insurance was minimal. My wonderful brother also left his 5...
Yeah, I'm not sure what that's saying there.
Yeah.
His wife, 8 years of no taxes.
8 years of no... probably didn't file for 8 years.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting from
and
that.
No will. And the friend left his wife with 6 timeshares.
I had to read that twice. 6 timeshares.
An equity loan, and only her Social Security. But they all seemed happy. He says, you have a huge following, give good advice, it seems. And well, let's dig into this.
Yeah.
This is tragic. First of all, if you go through the retirement planning process with us, those bases are going to get covered. I mean, we right from the get-go do the Social Security optimization. And we make sure that you have allowed for survivorship income. Nobody knows who's going to go first. Typically, it's us guys. 70% of the time that happens. And generally, it's us guys that have the higher Social Security benefit. And the surviving widow usually picks that one up as the survivor choice. This situation just sounds like a white-hot mess.
Yeah, it does. And Doug, when we sit down with somebody to start the planning process, when they've come to us, we ask a number of questions, and in that whole series of questions, part of those are asking the clients to prioritize what topics they want to talk about. And one of those is preparing, starting for your surviving spouse, preparing for your surviving spouse, or providing for your surviving spouse. And, obviously if somebody's not married, that's not a huge concern or a concern at all. But for most people, yeah, of course I want to make sure that if I were to leave or my wife were to leave, that the other one is taken care of. Well, if these people had come in, that Mike is talking about, his friend and his brother had come into us, we would have asked, is this a priority for you? And if it was, which I almost always say it is, we would take a look at things like he is talking about. When do you file for Social Security? Because apparently, according to Mike, what these guys did was file as soon as possible, which minimized their benefits. It might have helped them in the short term to get benefits sooner, but they weren't considering if they had passed what kind of benefits would be left to their wives. So that's something that we absolutely consider. Additionally, when he's talking about the pension benefits there, different subject, but same lines of thought. When you take your pension options, you want to make sure that you're considering not just for while you're alive, but what about your spouse as well?
Yeah, don't get greedy and take the highest payout on the pension option, because you are going to leave the survivor out on that. And then passing on, 6 timeshares?
I don't know what that was about.
Well, you can't sell those things, and plus every year you're going to have 6 maintenance fees to have to pay for.
Right. It's crazy. So we would help anybody who, whether they're thinking about it or not, we would help them figure out what life is going to look like after they pass for their surviving spouse, so that they can at least make the decision and realize, we didn't realize that we didn't have that covered. We might want to have that covered. But we're going to talk some more about that, and we're going to talk about, Doug, in the second segment as well, the market. But we've got to get to a break here, and before we get to the break, we always get to a trivia question. So congratulations to the Atlanta Braves for just winning the World Series this week, done in 6 games. That was great. And my question is going to go along, since Doug and I are sports fans. Doug, what player holds the record for the most World Series home runs? Lou Gehrig, Hank Aaron, Babe Ruth, or Mickey Mantle?
Well, since I'm such a baseball fan, I'm sure I'm not going to get this one.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm sure some of our fans out there will get it. So our listener, sorry about that. So we're going to get to the break here, and then we'll come back and see if we stumped Doug, or more importantly, see if we stumped you. Folks, hang on. We'll be right back. And welcome back to the Wealth Guardians radio show. This is Brice Payne in the producer's chair, and right alongside me in the most important chair of all is Doug Ray. And we are wishing you all a happy fall weekend here. Thank you for sticking around with us through the break. We're going to get to our trivia question answer here in just a minute and see if we stumped Doug, or more importantly, if we stumped you. But I want to ask everybody out there, if you are maybe 5 to 7 years from retirement, and you are wondering if you have made or are making the best decisions financially for your retirement, and you're just not sure about that, then I want to invite you to give us a call at 336-391-3409. 336-391-3409. I've got good news for you. We offer a no-cost, no-obligation second opinion on your current portfolio, and we'll sit down with you and go over all things financial planning and retirement planning to make sure that we have not left anything uncovered, that you have not left any stone unturned, and you understand exactly what retirement is going to look like for you. That is what we do day in and day out, 365 days a year here at the Wealth Guardians, and we want to help you do it as well. But you do have to pick up the phone and give us a call, 336-391-3409. Doug and I would look forward to sitting down with you and seeing what services or advice or help we could provide in planning for your retirement. Now, normally at this time, before I get back to the trivia question, we highlight a certain section of our website so that you can have a better understanding of all the things that are on thewealthguardians.com. But we introduced a new form of technology to our repertoire here in the last couple of weeks, and I want to mention it here again. You now have the ability to text us at 336-391-3409, and if you text us the number 4, SS for Social Security, and FACS, F-A-C-T-S, 4SS FACS, we are going to send you a summary on the 4 critical Social Security facts retirees must know. But all you got to do is text us 4SS FACS at 336-391-3409 to get your free copy. And again, like everything else with the Wealth Guardians, there is no cost and there's no obligation. With that, it is just good information and good advice. So do that, and we look forward to hearing from you. Now, again, going back to our trivia question, congratulations to the Atlanta Braves for downing the Houston Astros in 6 games to win the World Series title for 2021. And my question to everybody out there was, what player holds the record for the most World Series home runs? Is it Lou Gehrig, Hank Aaron, Babe Ruth, or Mickey Mantle? And Doug, give us what you think your answer was.
So you're asking a guy who is not much of a baseball fan. In fact, the only time I watch baseball is the World Series, and then I'm just jumping in and out. So, okay, my best guess is the Bambino, Babe Ruth.
No,
Okay.
it was not Babe Ruth. It was not Lou Gehrig. And even though Hank Aaron probably has the most famous home run, he does not have the most home runs in a World Series. That honor belongs to Mickey Mantle. And Mickey Mantle played in 12 World Series series, not just 12 games, but 12 World Series series, 12 Fall Classics. He holds the record for the most World Series home runs with 18. He also holds World Series records for the most runs, 42, and runs batted in, 40, and total bases of 123. Well, I guess if you've played in 12 full series, then that affords you the opportunity to hold a lot more records, just like Brett Favre played so many games out there that he holds so many records. He played longer than most people do, and Tom Brady's going to win that record, a lot of those records as well, just because the guy never gets older. But the more series you play in, like Mickey Mantle did, the more that you have the opportunity to hold those records.
Did he play all those with the Yankees?
I do not know. I believe so, but I'm sure somebody's going to now email me and say, Brice, you idiot. Of course he didn't, but I think he did.
I wonder how many he won.
I don't know that.
I don't either.
I don't know. Somebody, if you know, I'm sure somebody out there knows that. I play disc golf with a couple guys who are big baseball fans. Nick, if you're out there and you want to school me a little bit on that, go ahead and give me a call or a email and let me know what Doug just asked there. Anyway, we're going to get back now, and on our second segment, we are going to talk, Doug, about the market.
Yeah, before I get into the market, let me just remind everybody, this is your last opportunity coming up Tuesday. This is our last Social Security workshop of the year, and of course our star presenter, Mr. Hamilton Morales, will be there, and he's always well received, does a great job for us. Generally, we have a good following. We've already got a bunch signed up, but there's still room. So give us a call at 336-391-3409. Come with all your Social Security questions that you can muster, and he'll answer every single one of them.
And Doug, I would mention, too, that the reason that we're qualified to put on these seminars is because you and I both are certified with the National Social Security Association, and that is a key component of financial planning or retirement planning.
Absolutely. All right, the market. So I'm going to talk to you about the market today because this week we had some interesting happenings. I'm going to talk to you about an index that rarely gets talked about. You folks probably some of you don't even know it exists, but it's an important one. You know, I want to bring you the market update every once in a while because I came out the first of the year saying I don't like the setup here. Things don't look good on the long-term charts, and they still don't. And we're starting to see some pieces of the puzzle fall into place in terms of happenings around what is a market top. You know, September, we had a bit of a correction, not a lot. October corrected that correction to the upside. And generally, you know, seasonality, you have a strong market going into Christmas and New Year's. Around March, things get to be dicey. And that's kind of the setup I see. But what happened this week that just really caught my attention was two things. It was Tuesday. I looked up at my monitor and I saw the Dow Transports. That's the index I'm referring to that most of you don't look at. Just stock market geeks like me look at it. Now, that day, the Dow Transports were up 14% alone. Imagine if you looked at the Dow Jones Industrial Average or the S&P and in one day they were up 14%. That's just unheard of. Well, it's unheard of for the Dow Transports too. So I got to digging around. I tried to figure out what the heck is going on here. Well, one of the components of the Dow Transports is a rental car company called Avis, stock symbol CAR. Well, Avis was heavily shorted, and the gamer people that did the run-up to GameStop way back, we talked about that in February, and also they did the same thing to AMC Theaters. Well, they got a hold of Avis and did the same thing. They ran Avis from like $170 up over $500 in one day. Well, that was like an 1,100, 1,200 point increase on the Dow Transports alone, just that one stock. Now, the reason that's important is this. Up until that point in time, we had something going on called a Dow theory. Basically, Dow theory says, let me back up and explain this. Dow theory says that when the Dow Jones Industrial Average and the Dow Transports are both going up at the same time, it's generally because of a good economy. Makes sense, right? You know, the Dow Industrials, they're selling you goods and service and products, and the Dow Transports are transporting those goods and service and products. So when you have a Dow theory non-confirmation, it means the indexes have separated. So all year long, we had the Dow Transports going down while the Dow Industrials were going up. That's an unhealthy market indicator. Generally, it's resolved one way or the other. And usually, if the transports are going down, the industrials will soon follow. Well, this time, Tuesday, that wacky market move just turned everything completely around, and now we're back to a Dow theory confirmation to the upside. So what I'm telling you in a long-winded way, I guess, is I think we're still going to have a pretty decent uptrending market through the holiday season, probably through the first of the year, and also probably around springtime is when things could get dicey again. So things still long-term don't look good, but short-term they look okay. All right. Something else occurred this week. Really interesting. Zillow, and most of you know who Zillow is. Zillow is the home pricing company that you can get the prices of your house, your next door neighbor's house, that kind of thing. Well, Zillow was out there just buying homes up left and right, just like BlackRock, Open Door, OfferPad, all of these folks, just paying crazy prices for homes because they wanted to try to flip them at a higher price. Well, they announced all of a sudden, hey, we're not doing this anymore. In fact, we're selling off our inventory, selling it off at prices lower than what they paid for them. That, to me, is a warning. Mm-hmm. It's a warning that we're in an overheated market, both on the stock side and on the real estate side. And when one of those markets starts to crack, the other one's going to crack too. You go back to the folks that are gaming Avis on the Dow Transports. The way they do that is using something called margin. In other words, they're using credit to buy the stock. That gets dangerous because once you're in the stock on credit, if the stock starts to fall, then you're forced to cover or bring more cash into the market and buy that account back to even. That can cause what's called margin calls, which starts a domino effect, which can have catastrophic effects on the market. So interesting times, folks. Keep your eyes open, keep your ears open, and let's watch what's going on out there. Remember, folks, who are our clients, we've got your downside covered. We've got stop-loss protection in the portfolio. And if you want to find out more about how that's done, if you're not our client and you want to go through our process and get a second opinion, if you will, just call us at 336-391-3409.
336-391-3409. You can also visit us at thewealthguardians.com. Doug, that was some really good insights into what you see as a technical trader and a technical analyst. What you see, geek. What you market geek. I was going to be nice. What you see happening, going on out there. The reason from my standpoint that I can tell that things are getting interesting in the market is because I see you buying upgraded and larger monitors in your office, which means you're paying even more close attention to what the market's going on. You want to make sure you've got even more charts going up at the same time so you can follow them. And folks, this is what Doug does. This is what we do, is we give advice on how to have your retirement portfolio secured on the downside, yet still in a position for upside growth. And if you're interested in learning more about that and sitting down with us, 336-391-3409. We would hope to see you in our office at some point. We would also love to see you at our upcoming